and their nerdy friends.
Hey, what's going on? So starting up this Hangout thing. First time I've ever done a live broadcast. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I figure it's worth a go. Jose is going to watch. Hey, there go Kisasi.
Hello?
Guess we'll have if I turn on the speakers. What's going on?
Trying to do a live hangout.
Hey, Glenn.
Would you like to join?
So where you going, Kisasi?
To my car.
Oh, I thought you were about to show off those computers.
No, there's too many people in the office.
So it's the first time I've ever done a Hangout on air. So it's live broadcasting so people can watch. So Gwen, are you there?
Yes.
Alrighty. And looks like Kisasi dropped off. So 5 things about me. Started off, I'm Calvin, photographer. Been doing it for a number of years. 5 things about me. My name's Calvin. Currently, I stay in Texas. I shoot photography, mostly people photography, but I've got more into the landscape style of photography. I primarily shoot with a DSLR, but I also shoot with cell phones. And lastly, something about me, not photography. I work in the telecommunications business. So Gwen, how about you? 5 things about you. Your name, where you're from, what you shoot with, things of that nature.
Gwen Sutton. I'm in North Carolina. I started shooting with a Canon PowerShot SH with a 50-time optical zoom. And earlier this year, I started with a Canon 70D. I've started mostly with landscapes, and in the last few months, I've gotten into people photography and doing photo walks.
Alrighty. And something about you, not photography.
I've been in social media for several years. Before Twitter got cool, I was Twitter and Clerk.
Okay. And how about you, Kisasi?
Hi, my name is Kisasi Bowie. What are the questions? I'm sorry. The type of photography that I...
Yeah, what type of photography you like to do? What type of cameras do you shoot with? Things of that nature.
Oh, okay. Well, I've started shooting a lot of analog film cameras, 5-inch backs and things for silk screening and graphic reproduction. And from there, I've gone into digital photography. Digital cameras that I've owned have been like a Canon 1D full frame SLR. I do some portraiture. That tends to be my favorite right now. Something outside of photography about myself would be that I really am into computers and really am into graphic design.
Alrighty. Very cool. So I take it neither one of you guys have ever done a Google Hangout on air.
No, I'm fumbling all through it.
Yeah, me neither. I figured today, if we just a couple us few in here, we'll spend just a little bit of time, just trying it out, mostly seeing how it goes. Also, I get to play with my new webcam that I picked up.
What did you pick up?
I originally was looking at getting a Logitech C920, and I was like, well, nah, I'm gonna try this Creative Labs out. So I bought the Creative Labs and totally did not like it. Picked up this thing, it's like awesomeness. Not a promo thing, it's just it worked.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, David? Um, so yeah, I'm just happy. I've been playing around with the Macs for a few years, but I never really dived into and explored all the features and functionality. Then had to deal with the limitations of what the Macs offered. You know, with PC, is pretty much as long as you got the latest operating system, you can find anything and everything you want for it. But with Mac, you have to take the time and scour and find things that's actually going to work for it. So picking up a webcam was a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be. It was plug and play, but the quality just wasn't there where I needed it to be. So, hey David, are you there yet? I'll take it as a no. So what you guys like to talk about? I'm pretty much open. I talk too much a lot, so try to let other people talk.
Continues. Sure.
David? And who's that? Who else made it in there? Oh, that's David. You're in there twice, buddy. Can't hear you.
What would you like? What would you like?
Is my background noise picking up?
It's starting to.
Okay.
Do you not hear me talking? Plug your headset into it if you need to hear it. So David, I guess I'm not hearing you because it looks like you're talking, but I don't hear you talking.
All volume seems to be pretty quiet.
That's Gwen over there making a bunch of noise.
No, I shut the door. Well, look, I just got an odd message that popped up that said David blocked David. Do I want to block David as well? No.
David, stop blocking yourself. Probably kicked yourself out. So my basic concept of photography is pretty much throughout the years I learned how to work my way around a camera. I guess I should look into the camera more often. I'm not used to this whole webcamming thing. Throughout the years I've taken time to learn photography. I didn't take a class on photography until I came out here to Texas, and that was even then after a few years of being here. I just picked up a 35mm film camera, hit the auto button, and just started taking pictures. Used to go out to Wolf Camera and buy film from them, and then I would develop the film with them, and they would turn around and give me more film, so I went out and shot more pictures. And that's how I started into photography, and then I started taking pictures of people and kind of got addicted and dealt with people for about a good 10 years. And now I'm starting to get back into photography, dealing with Gwen, with all the weird, crazy things she has me going out there doing. And Gwen's in there twice, and David's in there twice. Me and Kisashi look like we're only in there once.
I didn't hear the last part. I can barely hear you.
Ooh, that's Gwen with the feedback, probably. You're on the tablet as well as the computer, Gwen?
Beg your pardon?
Are you on the tablet and the computer?
I had the phone open, which is what I started in, and I just got it turned off, and now I'm just on the computer.
Okay.
That should be got rid of all the background noise. Also should be got rid of 2 pictures of me.
Yeah. Kisashi, can we hear you now?
Yes, I can hear much better.
Oh, okay. Now, it looks like David was having some technical difficulties because he's dropped off again.
I spoke with
Well,
Wayne earlier, and he had to work tonight. Otherwise, he said he would have been logging in.
oh, okay. Awesome. Tell them more than welcome to come through and hang out. Um, so how about you, Kisasi? What got you started in photography?
My father, did photography for when he was in the Seabees in the Navy. So I kind of grew up in the dark room.
Okay,
He went to art school after he got out, and as a kid, I grew up in the dark room.
cool. Let's see. I got a few people who say they're watching. Carlos said he wanted to join, but for some reason I couldn't get him to be invited. His name didn't show up when I typed it in the ad. Suggested everybody check their mics.
Testing.
Coming now. That you, Glenn? Could I see your picture up there?
Right there.
I don't know why it's not letting me add Carlos into the Hangout. He's a photographer out here in the Dallas area who is interested in photography and just starting out.
Now, what area is Kisasi?
He's saucy.
What area
Yeah,
are
right.
you?
Right now, I'm in Marin City, California, which is right next to Sausalito. So I'm literally right on the north side of the Golden Gate Bridge right now.
Okay. When the earthquake hit, did you feel any of it? Have any damage, anything?
No, I felt it. It was just a little tremor.
Okay.
That's
So
that's it was only a 6, and it was in Napa. So
it's kind of funny because when it happened, I was actually working, and someone popped up, "Oh, it's an earthquake going on." I'm like, "Well, what is it?" And next thing you know, they start talking about how hard it was, and of course, all the video that comes out here is showing all the wine and all the broken stuff inside of stores, and I'm like, "Well, okay, that's not bad."
exactly. That's just a few rich people's bottles. That's it.
Yeah, you lost some bottles. Okay, life goes on.
They're insured.
So I
Yeah,
didn't hear any reports of people hurt or dying or nothing. So
yeah, so that's just, when there's deaths, that's when it was concerned. There was one kid who was sleeping under a fireplace and the bricks fell down and crushed his pelvis. I think that's like the worst injury.
right.
But he was sleeping under the under a brick fireplace school day. So.
Well, we have to fight with you and your microphone.
Yeah, Gwen, that little evil look you giving isn't gonna go scare no kid. Hello, Gwen.
Yes.
That evil eye you giving that baby isn't gonna stop.
Wait just a minute. I got some extra noise going on. I've got to get the door closed again.
You ready?
Okay, the door is shut again. I'm sorry. What did you say?
That eye that you're giving that your little kid isn't gonna stop him.
No. No, not by a long shot.
Mm-mm.
That's my little granddaughter.
Oh, how old?
2.
Okay. So are you taking a lot of pictures of her right now?
Not at this particular moment, but I've taken. She has been a subject of a lot of pictures. Quite a few pictures.
That's good.
Do any of you guys have anything planned recently, or had any good photography happenings going on?
Nope, not me.
No, not I. I've just been so saturated with work that this is a relief. You know, I had to actually run out in my car to do this while working. So that's how busy I've been.
Yeah, I'm working on 20 straight days of work or something like that.
You start to go loopy after a little while there, Calvin.
No, not multiple hours. I typically work as anywhere from an 8 to 12 hour day.
Well, just seeing the same people 20 days in a row will do it for me.
Oh no, I don't see them on weekends when I work. On the weekends when I do the Friday, Saturday, it's overnight work that I do, and no
Uh-huh.
one's around.
Oh, see, that's my kind of work.
And let's see. I'm trying to bootleg this thing. Hold on a second. For some reason, I can't seem to get Carlos to join. I blame Google. He doesn't show up in the list as I type in his name, which is completely odd. And I'm like, why is his name not showing up? I get all these other Carlos Ramirez there, but he doesn't show up. I'm like, this is busted and bootleg. Tells us when I do a post, I'm going to do a private post to him. See if that works. Alright, so this is all completely new to me, so just having fun with it.
That's all right. I couldn't even answer the Hangout request.
That's because of your device you own, man. You don't have a real phone.
Yeah, it works for me.
Anderson, you got a good clear shot going on here tonight, just as clear as it can be.
Which surprises me. I think that new camera is actually pretty cool.
And I see me in the smaller window, I got a whole lot of eyeglass glare going on.
Really? Never even noticed.
Nah.
So, David, is your mic working? Take that for a no. Oh, email just showed up. Oh, it's spam. So, question. How much junk mail do you guys actually get?
Hardly any.
Oh, wow. I wish I could say the same.
But see, I've never given out my real email address that much. In the
I
past
don't
15
either. I
years.
noticed that my email address has been stolen. But it's also a lot of my alternate email addresses that is being used for, not my regular one.
Okay, can you hear me?
Hey, I heard you that time.
Yes.
Yes.
Introduce yourself, David.
I'm David.
Tell us 5 things about you: your name, where you're from, what you shoot, something about your non-photography. I forgot the 15.
Okay, well, David, I'll just give you the last name that everyone knows, which is Wu. I'm actually a hyphenate. Mostly from LA. Grew up everywhere. I shoot with a Nikon D5100. I used to make movies in Hollywood, independent stuff, and currently stuck in mid-city between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Cool. So do you get a lot of spam and junk mail?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I've got, I have a firewall that blocks pretty much everything.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Need to invest in some tools myself to improve my stuff. I get tired of this junk that make it through. Mostly because somebody decides to sign up for everything underneath the moon and don't really care. But I don't like to name names.
And so where are the rest of the lady photographers?
I don't know who else.
Did you send an invite to Wendy?
She didn't comment on the post.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to be forcing nobody to feel like they're obligated to do something. Or the infamous I can't come, which a lot of people like to do. Carlos made it.
Hey, I've been watching the whole time.
Yeah, I figured you was watching because I seen your comments in the broadcast thing on there.
Yeah.
I don't know why his name won't show. It just won't show. I get like 20 Carlos Ramirez shows up and none of them are you.
I was on the laptop. I just switched over to my phone and it got it there for some reason.
Well, I sent you a private post with the link that it shows up, and then when you invite someone, it has a link in there. So
Right.
I'm like, well, let me just send them a private post with the link. That should work.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Okay. Well, welcome aboard.
Thanks.
So tell us about you. You're a relatively new guy, apparently.
Yeah, I'm just I'm in my second semester at Mountain View College taking photography classes. It's a community college, and I don't know, I just started out. It seemed pretty fun at first, and so I decided to go ahead and take a second semester.
Okay. Now, if you go for a degree in that, fine arts, be prepared not really to make any money or have a real job.
Okay.
The few people with the degrees that actually do get a job in that field, they pretty much hold it for tenure, 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
Nothing wrong with getting it. Just
Right.
on it.
Well, for right now, I'm taking it more as just a hobby, but I am getting more into it, and I seriously don't know where it's going after that, though.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Enjoy the role and follow where you feel best.
Right.
I started out similar. I didn't start with taking courses. I just mostly took pictures at random.
Okay.
I see my pictures and liked it and said, "Oh, I got this model calendar I'm doing. Can you come shoot it?" I'm like, "Sure. What I gotta do?" And I actually signed up with a model website to do pictures, and that was fun for a good little while.
Right. Actually, they told me that there was a class for photography at Mountain View. I didn't know, and I went in thinking, okay, they're gonna provide the camera and everything. So I actually joined the class before I picked up my first DSLR camera. I had no idea what I was doing when I first got there. But luckily, I had a good teacher. She taught me a lot, and I got a couple of shots that I took on my Google Plus, and I think they came out pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, to me, photography is an art that, as long as you appreciate it, that's what matters. If other people do, that just adds more icing to the cake.
Right.
Unless you don't like cake, and then it could be something else.
Bye.
So,
I read an article earlier today about how photography has grown into an individual art. There are a lot of people that don't like to do group photography, and I found that quite interesting. I find that when I'm with a group, it's fun. I can share my enthusiasm with the group. It's good to work with like-minded people.
yeah, one thing I noticed with photography that there's people that do the whole individual thing or they do the group thing. Most people don't flow back and forth between the other. And I'm a very social person, so I enjoy getting out and interacting with people. I'll shoot by myself all day long, if I have the opportunity to, and it's something that I want to do. but I enjoy the social impact of hanging out with other people. I enjoy answering questions and helping them create things that they didn't think that they can create before. So for me, photography is all about what I can give to people, what I can do to help people, and things like that.
Well, my photography has certainly improved since hanging out with you. I've learned quite a bit from you.
Hey, just point and click. That's what I say. But really, a lot of people get hung up on the concept with DSLRs and this anything and everything about it. And to me, a DSLR helps you control facts of the photography that a point and shoot won't allow you to do. Some point and shoots give you some control, but most of them don't give you the full control. So, and not really a DSLR, just an SLR in general. So, SLR, technical term, single lens reflex. It basically means that you look through an eyepiece and you're actually looking directly through the lens on what you're actually taking a picture of. They also have a dual lens reflex. Those kind of are very not popular. 35 millimeter pretty much popularized the SLR function. Because what they did was they allowed you to interchange your lenses. So you can have a short lens or a big lens or a very super long lens that you can strap onto your camera and change what you're able to capture with. DSLR is an extension of the 35 millimeter. It's at the point now where they're comparable with 35 millimeters. Many people will argue that fact. You know, the 3%, the 8% difference is there. You know, 99.999% of the people in the world won't be able to tell the difference in that. But if that's not your interest and you have the money, you're more than welcome to go out there and get that medium format stuff that they have. You know, you're talking about 40, 50, 100 grand for a digital back, and you're talking about a body that's going to cost you 10, 15 grand. The lenses for it are 10, 15 grand. But you can take those pictures and produce a building size, and I'm talking about 40, 50 stories building size picture off of it and have high quality out of it. So you spend that type of money and you're going to be doing those type of projects, go for it. Lay all your money out there and enjoy it. Well, that's a little bit of technology behind that with the SLR. The DSLR is basically a digital single lens reflex. They started out years ago with low megapixels. If you spent money on the higher end gear, you was able to get better quality pictures out of it, but you wasn't able to get the film version of it. But probably the ending of the 2000s, around 2008, 2009, the DSLR has started to reach the point where it was comparable to that film. And it was comparable enough where people started to convert. People who were longtime fans of the film genre. And now, no one talks about the SLR. They only strictly talk about the DSLR. So once you can reach that type of penetration, the big Canon, Nikon, there's the big argument on who's better. They're the kings. They own probably 90% of the market. Sony, Olympus, all those other guys, they bottom feed at the end of the day. They push and innovate things, but they own such a small share of the market that, you know, but they do good things. I don't knock it. I'm not much into cameras and just talking about vendors because I'm not sponsored.
Well, I like Sony, but what the problem with Sony, especially if you're starting out, is all their cameras are very specialized. The Nikon and Canon, you can do more photographer. Sony just gets really, really specialized. I love the color, I love the image, but...
And one thing that Sony's always been known for, they are always specialized and they're always proprietary. From when they first started creating their own versions of memory, you know, there was the standard out there with compact flash, and then SD came along, and Sony said, we're going to give you the memory stick. It's going to be better, but it's only going to work with our products.
My first DSLR was a Sony A230. And It took a memory stick.
Mhm.
Now it also takes the standard,
Very.
but I mean it's so for I mean at the time when I bought it, it was like a mid-level. Now it's a bottom. I think it's like 10.1 megapixel. I still shoot with it occasionally because I love the color, and but like I said, there's only so much you can do with it. I can swap a lens, but every lens is really limited to what it'll actually do.
Right. When I first started out with the digital realm, I had Minolta XTSI 35 millimeter, and I did a little research and I picked up a Nikon Coolpix 990. I love that thing. I just went shoot happy when I first got it. Click, 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 and it was amazing because I realized how slow it was with taking pictures, but it didn't matter. It took pictures. And I was able to whip it on out the memory card, download it to my computer or my USB 2.0, and I can see pictures and I can enjoy my pictures. And when I upgraded to my Canon, I picked up a 20D, and all of a sudden I pressed the button, click, 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 click. I went from probably taking 200 pictures with 2 sets of batteries in about 3 hours to taking 200 pictures in about 30 minutes. And I was like, whoa, whoa, this is too much fun. I probably took 10,000 pictures with that camera in the first year, year and a half. But, you know, those are my heydays, my starting out with photography, and I shot a lot of different subjects, a lot of different topics. Started out in the Bay Area shooting, all kind of random stuff. Then all of a sudden I got into digital and started working with people, and the world kind of changed once I went digital. I enjoyed the interaction with a person in photography. It was more about pulling something out of them that they typically didn't see in themselves, and I enjoyed that. I couldn't really get that with taking pictures of sunsets and trees and buildings. So who's next? Who wants to talk about what brought them into their love affair with photography?
Well, I guess what just got me into it was, just the cameras being on phones. So, I would just always have my phone on me. I'll take a picture, and I guess it kind of got me started. I just love taking pictures with my phone, and finally I upgraded to it was like a Kodak, some kind of little Kodak point and shoot. I started taking pictures with that, and now I have a Canon Rebel T3, and it's been pretty fun since I had it. I only had it for like 7 months, but I got some pretty good shots with that.
Awesome. Very cool.
Hey, come to the Los Santos custom shop.
Anybody else?
Well, I kind of started behind my daughter, my youngest daughter. That's what she went to school for, photojournalism. And she'd come home some weekends and show me what she was learning, this and that. And I kind of had gotten the bug then about wanting to take pictures. And I started shooting moon shots with a small Kodak. And it was my dream. I've got to get into the craters. And if you look at any of my pictures, you see monthly moon shots. And the deeper I can get into that, the more focused I can get with that. That made me quite happy. And then from the moon shots to other landscape shots, the people shots really just came on in the last, like I said, year or so. And in 2011, 12, we did a photo excursion From there, I started doing something called random people photo shots, just walking up to a stranger. Hi, may I take your picture? Random stranger photo shot. And so far, I haven't got knocked out. I've had good success with that.
You sure you've been asking people?
Sometimes, yeah, most of the time I ask. Nah,
I need to get evidence of this.
most of the time I ask. And I've had good success with that. I've done a project called Judged, where I've talked with different young people on the street about did they think that they were judged by their race or by what activities they were involved in. To speak of Calvin, you still haven't done your video on that.
Who? You need to
Yeah.
get Kisasi to do that.
Who?
Kisasi.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Come on, Kisasi.
Maybe in another one of your videos we could sit down and do.
As an assignment or here on the fly?
Nah, we're going to need an hour and a half with you for that.
Exactly. As I'm driving home in traffic, I would have a lot to say about being able to merge over into the right lane. But no, that sounds like a good photo social journalism project.
It has been. It is something, at first I was going to end it in December, but it's something that is ongoing depending on what area I'm in and who the people that I run upon. And then in another situation, I came across homeless people, and I've started talking with them and kind of following their journey a little bit, seeing what makes them tick and what makes them fall into that category. And that's been very interesting with me also. And then
Is there free health care where you are?
no.
We live in America, man. Ain't no free health care.
I live here in the California Republic.
Hey. The Republican stuff is what these Texas people call.
No, California Republic. The Republic of California. The communist Red Star state of California. I just left a clinic where I'm doing install, and there's free health care here. And it would be interesting for you to do your project out here. Except I would probably call it entitled.
Well, I went out to California the end of April for a few days. I hope to go back out there either later this year or probably sometime early part of next year. And that's something that I might could connect on. But out there in California, I found that at first people are not. I'm from the south, and I'm used to speaking to people, walking up, hello, how you doing, or just a wave and keep going. There in San Francisco, where I was at, people kind of first off look at you kind of strange when you start speaking to them. But then as I kind of progressed on, it got okay. They were used to, oh, that's the lady that'll talk to you. And I found one really good instance where I was in a Starbucks with my son Wayne, and I met a lady from, I think she was from Sweden, oh no, Hungary, and she had been out there on an assignment from her job for 2 weeks, and not a single soul had took her up Highway 1 or took her to the beach to see any of the sights. And you know, I got a little iPad and I got full of pictures, and I started showing her mine, and she gave me her personal email and asked me to email her pictures from what I had been seeing. And I said that was totally sad. Here this young woman had been there for 2 weeks in California, and nobody took the time to interact with her to let her see a little bit of the beauty that was to be found. So that let me know, hey, what I was doing, I was speaking, I was talking, I'm okay with that. If they don't want to respond, that's fine. I did my part. Don't worry about the rest.
Well, that's Northern California.
What you say, David?
That's Northern California. It's totally different than LA. But Southern California is very friendly.
You agree with that, Calvin?
I rarely agree with some things that David say.
Hey, I lived there for over 15 years.
Where
I
do you
lived there for
live now?
25 years, almost 30.
Where do you live now? In a much friendlier place or a less friendlier place?
Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth, nowhere close to friendly.
Oh, really?
They are.
Wow, I found people when I went out there were very friendly. They spoke and
I'm
took.
I'm I'm in the mid cities. It's the suburb in between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Hmm.
Well, I guess Chicago and New York must just seem downright ornery.
No, I also lived in New York City. New York City is a great place. I wouldn't want to live there for too long
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't
because
talking about
you
visiting.
just get boxed in. I mean, it's nice when the weather's good and you can get the hell out.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
thought I thought Texas was just like friendly. You know, y'all come back now. You're here and all of that.
Nah. You want to
no.
shoot
They shoot first and say hi later.
Yeah, they want to shoot everybody out here.
Well, I kind of like that part about it.
No, you don't. Not when you're the one being shot.
Right.
It sounds good, dog, till you're the one on the front end of it and not the back end of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Google Drive now supports making smiley faces by drawing icons.
So no one in this group has anything planned to shoot.
Oh yeah, I always have something planned. In October, we are having fall shooting up in the mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountains. We've got a train ride scheduled to go up in the mountains and
Don't forget the waterfalls.
waterfalls. Oh, long as you driving, we are going up into the
October?
waterfall.
Yeah, man, we're going to catch those fall leaves.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, we don't
And
have
that's-
cloudy.
That's why you travel, man.
so that's open. If anybody wants to come and join us with that, that's fine. And May of next year, hopefully we'll go back to Victoria, Canada, and Washington State, and just take our time and sightsee and capture as much as we can in a few days.
Yeah.
We honestly, is it all right? We just came back from a great trip the first week of July. We went to Alaska.
Wow, I've always wanted to go to Alaska.
Gotta plan it, man. As long as you sit around and wait for things to happen, there's a good chance they're not going to happen.
Well, I kind of have technical difficulties.
I understand. That's why you plan it. But now I got people like, I've been knowing people since I've been out here in Texas.
Uh-huh.
It's been 10 years come October. And they're like, oh, I want to do some pictures. And in 10 years, we ain't done no pictures. Some of them haven't even met. And I'm like, why you waste my time and my energy? If you have no intention of fulfilling it, don't speak it. Because I just sit back and watch.
I have a personal belief that the majority of people don't value portraiture because they think that their camera phones are good enough now.
Listen, even before the camera phone rage happened. This is back when we had those little VGA cameras on camera phones. People, like I said, 10 years, man, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can do is, what can happen? Like I remember back when I was going to DeVry, I graduated from there in 2002, and I met a girl. I started that in 99, yeah, 99. And I met a girl, and the girl who wanted me to do the model stuff, we all used to hang out and chill out in the cafeteria and things like that. And one of the girls, I like, look, you need to do a picture. Like, all these boys be running around here chasing. You look good. You need to do some pictures. Oh, I need to lose some weight. And 3 years later, she still need to lose some weight. And I'm like, really? Whatever.
Was she eating when she told you this?
The girl she was not a bad-looking young lady. Half the guys there was chasing after her, and she was beating them off with a stick. And she knew she looked good, and she always worked out. She always ate healthy from when I seen her eat. And yeah, that was just her cop out for not wanting to take pictures. And I'm like, you know, you can just say no.
Image conscious.
Yeah, society has destroyed a lot of women's image perception of themselves. You know, then they wait till they really are out of shape and then complain about I should have done it when I was younger. You know, 4, 5, 6 kids later, 30 years later, talking about, "Ooh, I used to look good." And they're like, "Well, you could have had a picture of yourself looking good." But I'll just sip here on my tea.
I got that. I got that. That was a Kermit the Frog reference, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's none of my business.
Did he ever even say that?
Huh?
So let's talk about memes. Let's
Memes.
memes or memes.
Memes, memes. I never heard memes called it. That's a new one.
So photography, the use of photography to produce online commodities specific in social media. Anyone producing any thing with their photography like memes or web pages or online graphics at all?
Nope, not me.
Are you talking about having a website with your photography on it?
No, I'm asking, has anyone self-published to either a website or created any work like memes or any type of graphics online? Have any experience with that?
Well, are you talking about just you know, manipulating a photo into one and using that on a web page, or are you talking about the programming end?
Well, a little both. I mean, if you know a little Flash, a little script, yeah.
Well, I mean, well, you can use. I mean, you can use that to
Over it, Sky for Alan Burke.
make the image appear, disappear, that kind of stuff. But I mean, you know, like you could, I guess, take a photo and then put some script in the background that would, when you click, the meme would pop up onto it. But I mean, I haven't done any of that. I know how to.
Uh-huh.
No,
But
I haven't done anything.
I don't see what that would, like, what, you know, anyone would want. Everything that goes online, anything that goes online, if people have to work for it, they don't want it. Right? I actually know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that hate GIFs because they have to wait for it to load. I mean, it's only like a second or two, but they don't actually bother watching them because it doesn't start right like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like that. They're highly demanding. They love taking, but they don't believe in the concept of giving or sharing. And photography, for a lot of people, they feel like it's of no value because to them it's easy to do because they don't know how to do it. But because you can point and click a cell phone camera or some of the point and shoot cameras that anybody can do it, and they constantly want to devalue your services because they perceive that there's no level of effort involved with it.
Yeah. Well, last Sunday, I went down to into Fort Worth just to do some street shooting down around the square, and it turns out that someone that had been in contact with me about possibly doing some photos of, you know, family stuff. The grandmother's been sick, and you know, the first time there's 12 of the family all in one place. But she was kind of like, you know, oh, I don't know if we want to pay for it, blah blah blah. Well, I shot down there, and then I left about 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I find out the next day that she and her family showed up in the square 5 minutes after I left. And they
Acting to this. Are we going to get sick?
They tried to do the shots with a cell phone.
Like, remember, David, we ran into those girls that night when we was leaving?
Yeah.
Well, I sent them an email. I was like, hey, let me make sure this works.
For these kinds
Write
of
me back and I'll send you the picture.
compelling, exciting.
Haven't heard from them.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I was just like, wow, disappointed.
Trouble that you guys really have with the photography. Since hanging with you, it's amazing to me the difference in the interaction of people and between a man and a woman and how they can react. I just did not know that there was that much difference going on.
Uh-huh.
You have a whole different set of situations to deal with.
Yeah, it's life. I just take it as it is.
Well, I was shooting this, there was this couple, and they were dressed up, good-looking couple. They were sitting on a bench, and I was shooting around for a while, and I took a couple shots of them. And the girl, at first, didn't look like she liked it, so I backed off. And her boyfriend started talking to her, and he got her to start to, kind of pose for me without asking. Right, and I ended up getting a bunch of shots of her. And he's in the background, but every time I went to take a shot, he made sure that his face was hidden. But he talked her into letting me take a bunch of shots of her, but he wouldn't allow it for himself. I've noticed, especially around here, a lot of the men don't want their picture taken.
That's because he don't want his boo to see his pictures.
Well, I did, about a year and a half ago, I got hired by a honky tonk in Fort Worth to come in and do some publicity shots inside, and they were doing this big benefit for one of the musicians. And almost to the man, every guy on the dance floor, when I took a shot, if they were looking at me, gave me this look like they were going to shoot me.
And trust me,
and they were all told ahead of time.
Did you have a pink
I
shirt
was
on?
being paid by the club to take shots of this, and I had all of these shots, and I was like, these guys all look like they're like some kind of drug or cow cartel. Everyone that didn't want their picture taken gave me a full-on facial.
Guys, I'm gonna step out for a little bit. When I come back, if you guys are still here, I'll log back in.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap this up in 5 minutes. It's been almost an hour.
Okay.
Actually, I have to go soon. It's past my bedtime. No, I have to be up at 2 a.m. to go to work.
Yeah, I know those feels.
It was nice to meet you guys. I hope to be having an interaction. Hopefully one day we'll all do a photo shoot together.
Nice to meet you.
Nice.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool. So anything you guys want to wrap up before we go? Like I said, I only plan on doing it for an hour at most. Today is the first time ever doing it, so I just want to get a feel for how it works. My ultimate goal is to have these hopefully once a week. 1 or 2 people do the host of it, and then bring on 2 or 3 guests and talk about 5 things photography. So it could be talk about 5 different camera styles, 5 different cameras, 5 different pictures, scenes, whatever it may be that the guests are interested in talking about. I spend about 45 minutes to an hour just going over it and talking about different things that interest the guest with photography, and hopefully get it interactive with people joining and them posting comments and questions, and we can answer those as well, because there's a lot of things involved with photography, and hopefully I could bring together a good amount of people who know these different things so we can start helping people feel more comfortable and more interested in photography. Not all at once.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, it looks like we had a few people watched. Carlos, David, Jose, me, Adam, Michael, Cicely. As far as the Google Hangouts thing, I don't know who actually viewed it, but Adam chimed in and said, don't forget about the mirrorless and the micro four thirds, different camera body, large format, full, medium format. Medium formats are 4x6s or 5x7s. Large formats would be 8x10s or bigger. And 8x10s are actually really, really phenomenal. Think of a 8x10 piece of paper, or most of us don't have 8x10 paper, so think of an 8.5 by 11, and think of that as being your negative. That's your negative, not the picture, your negative.
yeah.
All that detail you can soak up and bring into there, and how much you can zoom in and have all that quality. And yeah, it's some awesome things you can do with photography once you start investing in there, and definitely get way more creative. We're not limited to where we're at in the evolution, which is DSLR. That's just one part of the evolution of photography. Is there anything else you want to chime in and talk about, guys? David or Carlos?
Not really. I mean, I'm doing a couple. I got a project due next week for my class, but I kind of haven't even started on that. So maybe next week I'll talk about it, or whenever we get back.
Okay. How about you, David?
I don't know. I'm actually going to be off this weekend, the whole weekend. First time in 8 months.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that. So.
No. Oh. Well, normally when I have a day off, I generally shoot into either Dallas or Fort Worth and just start shooting straight.
Well, David, I'm gonna challenge you to do something different this weekend. No Dallas, no Fort Worth. Go someone different. Get out of the Metroplex and shoot.
I've tried that. I'm done with cows.
I didn't say cows. You can
Hey,
drop.
I was out in the country for quite a number of years before I came here, and that's where I started shooting DSLR, and there was nothing but
Okay.
farms, mountains, and cows.
All right. So drive up to Exit 1 in Oklahoma. Go visit WinStar Casino. No cows out there, trust me. I already know.
Yeah, I know that. Well, I've been to Oklahoma. There are cows.
I didn't say go to Oklahoma. I didn't say go to the cows there. I said Exit 1.
There's no way I can drive up there anyways. This is the wrong end of payday.
Ah.
I get paid every 2 weeks, and it's not the 15th and 30th. It's every 2 weeks.
I don't even know what payday is.
Me either.
I work too much.
All right. Well, after I pay all the bills that are due on the 1st, I'll have no money until the 5th.
Well, I hope you explore something different than Dallas or Fort Worth. See if you can find something more creative to do. And Carlos, I challenge you to finish your project and bring us an example of that project.
I will.
And me, I challenge myself to get some pictures together so I can share. I have pictures from when I went to Colorado, pictures from when Gwen was here, pictures from when I went out to Gwen, and pictures from when I went to Alaska that I need to go through and finish up. The Alaska ones is a monster. I have 2,200 pictures from there, and I'm looking through and I like too many of those, and I've been trying to whittle it down, and I find something else I like, and then I start on that. So I think I'm gonna put up some of my April pictures. I got those all done. The May pictures I think I got done as well. I just haven't worked on the Colorado. I was gonna work on the Colorado, but I've had several people, I want to see the picture from Alaska. I'm like, so? And then the wife decided to say, I want to see the picture from Alaska. And I'm like, so? And after several reoccurrences of, I want to see the pictures from my phone, I said, okay, I will start to work on them. I tell most people no, and they just leave me alone. I tell her no, and she just keeps going at it. Cool.
Kind of her job.
Nah. Nah. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the broadcasting now. It looks like it says one person's viewing, which is kind of interesting. But we'll do this again. I'll talk with you guys between now and next week and figure out, you know, we can maybe get some more consistency going with it. Maybe have more of a format that we can go over.
Okay.
All right. Catch you with you guys later.
All right.
All right.
Peace.